The World Health Organization has approved China's Sinopharm's vaccine for emergency use, making it the sixth vaccine and the first non-Western one to receive the organization's validation for safety, efficacy, and quality. The move means developing countries now have another dependable option in their fight against the pandemic. While countries such as the US have hoarded more vaccines than it needs, developing nations are struggling to get their rollouts off the ground. Based on current trends, it's estimated emerging economies will have only vaccinated 30% of their populations by the end of the year. Africa's vaccination coverage is the lowest for any region. Globally, 150 doses of the vaccine have been administered per 1,000 people, but in sub-Saharan Africa, it's about 8 doses per 1,000 people. Many people expected India, home to the world's biggest vaccine manufacturer, to be the savior of the developing world. But after the second wave of the pandemic hit, the country halted exports of COVID vaccines for domestic use. Meanwhile, safety concerns led health authorities in some countries to temporarily pause the use of vaccines made by AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. The decision by the WHO means the world now has another safe and effective tool in the fight against this pandemic. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said, and I quote, "This expands the list of vaccines that COVAX can buy and gives countries confidence to expedite their own regulatory approval and to import and administer a vaccine," unquote. The UN-backed COVAX aims to procure 2 billion doses by the end of the year, but with limited supply from Western countries and India has only managed to distribute over 50 million doses. Meanwhile, China, which has successfully controlled the virus, can produce up to 5 billion doses by the end of this year, with its factories working at full steam, significantly speeding up its global COVID vaccine access. Besides production capacity, Chinese vaccines also have another big advantage. It is stable and it can be transported at 2 to 8 Celsius, making it easier to transport in cold chain than mRNA vaccines developed by Western countries, which require a cold chain transport of -70 Celsius. China has vowed to make COVID-19 vaccines a global public good. But some countries in the West try to discredit Chinese vaccines or accuse China of vaccine diplomacy. WHO's endorsement marks a significant step toward clearing up those doubts. It also marks a big step for the country's pharma industry to break the monopoly of big Western pharma companies in the global vaccine market and poises it to make major contributions in the global fight against the virus. COVID-19 vaccines are the keys to ending the pandemic. The life-saving product should not become a target of politicizing campaigns. In this global race to save lives, we should put aside our biases and join efforts to fight the common foe of mankind.